555 Jacksonville.
Second down, 13. The 45 of Baltimore. Brunell back in the pocket. Has a bit of time now being chased. Plants throws. He's looking downfield. He's got a receiver. And it is caught. Jimmy Smith at the 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. He just Wayne Starks for 45 yards.
Barks out for signals. Drops to throw. Has time. Fires the slant. Jimmy's got it this time. 35, 30. Middle of the field. 20. He's going to the 20-yard line. He's going to score. 10, 5. Jimmy Smith. Touchdown. And the Jaguars are right back in this ball game. Barks out the signals. Pressure coming. Steps up. Steps. Turns. Throws. He's got Jimmy. First down, 20. There he goes. 10, 5. Touchdown. Win. Jacksonville. Done under pressure. Steps to avoid. Turns and throws. He's got him in. Caught Jimmy inside the 40-yard line to the 37 and down to the 36.
Congratulations to Jimmy Smith. That is now his 800th career reception, and what a play to get it on.
This team winning right now, it helps bring so much attention to our franchise, what we did back in the day, like we were talking about, these Hall of Fame conversations. But when we're winning, we see the conversations pick up. So we have noticed that. So obviously, I'm pulling for my team to get to this Super Bowl.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is the first official Check the Tape Tuesday of 2025. Welcome into Jaguars Today. They're out on the practice field in full pads this morning. Good morning, Tony. How are things?
All good.
Sorry I missed you and DG breaking it down yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure you fellas had your fun yesterday.
We had
too.
our fun yesterday as well. Mr. Lageman is back here with us. Jeffrey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing good.
How's your off season been?
Great. It's just always gets shorter. I don't know how that happens.
It's because we get older, and it's a smaller percentage of our life.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's a great point.
You go into summer vacation when you're a kid, like 2.5, 3 months seems like.
It seems like forever.
It's forever,
yeah.
Right? And then how did the end get here? But it always does.
I don't know. Can I dial the clock back like that? Maybe a little bit.
I'd like to. We have a community pool that we get. You pay like $30 and go for a month in the summer. We don't have our own pool, so we'll get a month or two. And we went, Heather and I went on Sunday. We just go for like 30 minutes. But we're like, man, if there are a bunch of kids there at this pool today, I'm going to be like, you got to go to school tomorrow.
Now's the time to do some things. When the kids are back in school.
No doubt. Yeah, they clog up my roadways, but that's okay.
It's all good.
Dylan Denmark, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
How are things? What did I miss?
We're excellent. We got week 1 of high school football. Well, preseason this week.
Preseason, who you got?
Middleburg.
The Bird
coming up to B-Town.
When does high school open up?
Preseason's this week. Week 1's next week.
Okay, that's early.
It's here.
Wow. It's coming. They don't mess around.
I'll never forget. I mean, growing up as a kid in Virginia, we didn't have anything until Labor Day.
Yeah, basically you started like the Monday after Labor or the Tuesday after Labor.
Yeah, and that's when school started.
Jerry Lewis Telethon signaled that tomorrow you're in school. That's when I was a kid. That's how it was. On the Labor Day Telethon. Wow. So. Logs, let's start at the top. Jaguars didn't win. The final outcome isn't important on who had the most points. Jags were undefeated the last 2 preseasons, and that doesn't guarantee you anything.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, we've often remarked, Tony.
Streak is done.
Detroit went 4-0 in the preseason the year they went 0-16 in the regular season.
Yeah.
When Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl, he was 0-4 in the preseason. I mean, like the win-loss doesn't matter. How you play does matter to some degree.
Right.
So how'd the quarterback play this week?
I thought he was solid. I thought he had a very solid game. I don't want to say it was spectacular, but I thought it was a good start for him. Very simplified game plan, but I thought his feet were good. I thought the operation of the offense was very good. There's something a little bit different. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but, in years past, Trevor has had that wristband, and kind of has referred to it. And he doesn't have one right now. So, and from everything that we've heard and from talking to coaches and players, that the verbiage and everything with the play calling is very extensive. And so I think with him, they're trying to challenge him to learn it and to own it, So I think that's really good, but I thought it was a good start overall for him. clean, efficient, protected the ball, got a scoring drive, and then got out of there healthy. That, to me, is a real positive.
Yeah, a little disappointing that they didn't push anything downfield, but that's fine.
Right.
You take what you're given, and I don't mind him, taking the 5 when the 5 is available. For me, my favorite Trevor Lawrence play was the completion to Strange. Like, the timing of everything on that play was just absolutely perfect. And after an entire offseason of them talking about rhythm and timing and getting from here to here to here, on time, it was nice to see that kind of thing is already being established a little bit in the offense. And I'm with you. Like, we've both been on the Britton Strange bandwagon for a while now. That kind of play for him is absolutely perfect.
He's going to be good.
And it's what I expect the offense, whatever they're doing with Strange, that's what I expect that to look like.
I think that in the offseason, you go back to the release of Evan Ingram, and I think a lot of people were shocked. But now that you've and we've all kind of gotten an idea and an understanding of what Liam Cohen is about and how important the running game is, it's very understandable why Brenton Strange is now the number one tight end, because he's a really good blocker. And I'm not saying anything bad about Evan Ingram, but he just doesn't move people like a Brenton Strange. And if you looked at Brenton Strange and Evan Ingram, once they get the ball in their hands, Brenton Strange has been better. He's just got more after the catch, more juice. And Evan's good, but I think Brenton Strange takes it to another level. And so I'm excited about the opportunity that he has. I'm with you, Tony. You'd love to be able to see the ball pushed down the field. But I think part of that is when you start running the ball well, then you got some play action, and then it opens up some things down the field. And look, it's preseason. You're not really game planning any of that. But look, to go back to Trevor, look, he's got a lot of growth to make, and he is nowhere near a finished product. I think it's going to be a constant process for him this year with a new offense, and you can tell that sometimes Trevor's feet aren't where they need to be. You could hear Liam in his tone, and also when he's talking at times, that he's talking about progressions for Trevor, that he needs to get through them. So all of those things are opportunities for improvement for Trevor, and he needs to take advantage of it, because, look, the reality is that it's time. It's year 5. It's year 5, okay, third coach, and it's time.
Yesterday you and I had a chance to talk to a number of Jags, Liam Cohen and Tony Baselli included, and what I liked hearing from them was both of them kind of alluded to how hard Trevor has worked to kind of own the offense this offseason. So that was a positive, and we'll see if he gets to where he needs to be. We'll see if he can take that Baker Mayfield level leap here in the first year under Liam Cohen. We got a lot of thoughts on that and more coming up. We're going to get Log's reaction to the Travis Hunter debut.
No doubt.
The defense, Tony, didn't stop much in the way of the pass this weekend, so we'll talk about that as well. But as always, on a Check the Tape Tuesday, we invite your thoughts, comments, and questions for Jeff Lageman. That's the most important thing. Take advantage of Jeff. He'll be here every Tuesday throughout the season. We're thinking about it, Logs. This is like year 12. I don't know what year it is.
Has it really been that many?
It's been a long time. We've been doing it because we
are getting old.
You're one of the originals on Jaguars Today, like me and Tony. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's been a bunch, man. And so, folks today can get in on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Always post your thoughts, including your questions, in the YouTube virtual studio chat. Stream us on Twitter or Facebook, or hit us up on Twitter at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, that's LOGS56, or at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
All right, Jaguars Today off and rolling. A Check the Tape Tuesday look back on the Jaguars' first preseason game, and a look ahead to the week ahead for the Jacksonville Jaguars, straight ahead on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. I've got them in my house. Well, if you've listened to this program for any length of time, I went with Pella when it was time to replace my windows, even decided to get the sliding glass door done. Look, 0% financing for 60 months right now. There's no reason why you shouldn't be shopping with Pella if you're in the market for the best windows and doors in the business. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
There's a key that opens a very special door. The Jaguars locker room. Go in the locker room with Hayes Carlyon to get closer to the Jags. Unlocked by Renewal by Andersen Custom Windows and Doors.
Now this is how you end a summer. Under the lights, surrounded by history. The driver's last shot at the playoffs. Your last chance to see regular season action. Friday night, Xfinity lights the fuse. Saturday night, the Cup Series delivers the fireworks. This is Daytona. This is everything. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 22nd and 23rd. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Jeff Lageman for Napa Auto Care Centers. This football season, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or travel to the away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any one of the 29 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions. Napa Auto Care Centers offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace-of-mind warranty on most repairs. Find one near you at jacksnapaautocare.group.com.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Andersen Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm 1010XL's Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my takes and weekend updates on YouTube and Facebook. Musings with the media mogul. That's right, motivated by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But, Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see, Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Did you know that basketball and volleyball were invented at the YMCA? That's right, and even today, the Y continues to lead the way in youth sports programming, from toddlers just starting out to teens ready to compete. The Y offers skill development, recreational play, and competitive leagues, all in a fun, supportive environment. Get your child in the game to build character and skills at the Y. Registration is now open for youth volleyball and soccer at fcymca.org.
Let's get the work done.
Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Reach Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Go, here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday on Jaguars Today is brought to you by Napa Auto Care. Go to the pros Napa know-how. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com on 1010XL.
All right, our first Check the Tape Tuesday preseason edition here on Jaguars Today. Jeff Lageman in studio with us. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark as well on Jaguars Today. Logs, I saw today working on the side. Once again, Mason Smith. He looks like he's moving better. You know, and I saw Eric Armstead getting in a little individual work on the side as well for the second consecutive day, which is at least a good step in the right direction. What did you see from the interior of the defensive line on Saturday night?
They need those two guys back. I mean, just to be honest, I mean, look, that's a position that is going to probably get a lot of attention after this year, and maybe even at some point of cutdown day, and it's gotten some attention recently. You know, they signed what was the guy's name? Austin Johnson, just this past week. I mean, I think that right there ought to tell you where they think they're at. You know, and the reality is, in the game the other night, it was, you know, even like the two guys that I kind of was expecting to take a step forward for this football team this year, which is Devon Hamilton, who was kind of trending up at the end of last year a little bit, and then Jordan Jefferson, who I thought was pretty good. These guys got to strain more. You know, they got to have some violent departures. You know, they're getting blocked. I mean, it's when you get blocked, there's a point to where you have to just go, all right, it's time to ragdoll this guy and get off and make a play. And I just feel at times that it's just they're sticky. You know, they're just sticky on the offensive linemen. And
once they get their hands on you, that's it.
And not that it's it. It's just that there's got to be more strain, especially for Jordan Jefferson, number one on the double teams, and Devon Hamilton leaving the blocks. He's got to be more violent and quicker. And so that's a position, like I said, it's gonna take some time, and I hope that Mason Smith is working back well from his lower leg injury, you know, and then Eric Armstead is a guy that, you know, I trust him more to get back and to be ready to play for the regular season, because Mason Smith is still young, he's still raw. He's the guy that really you'd like to have getting reps, because his first year, I thought in training camp he showed really signs of big-time promise. And then in the first year, you know, you got to think and game plan. And, of course, it wasn't a good year. I don't think it was a very good job of coaching. And all those things, I think, had an impact on his performance, what I thought was just okay, to below average or expectations. And here, you know, in year two, you want him to really get reps and get better and digest the scheme and hit the ground running, and he's not having that opportunity. And that's not his fault. You know, so I'm not mad at him or blaming him. Look, I mean, guys get hurt.
Right.
And that's part of the process. But, man, in a perfect world, you'd like to have him taking the reps right now and getting the opportunity to get better.
Yeah, like you said, it's a shame because universally from everyone I talked to with the team praised how hard he had been working this offseason, you know, and that when he got hurt.
Had a really good offseason.
Right, went to the team right away, like, hey, let me get in there and rehab. So he's done it the right way. Like you said, you're not trying to get hurt if you're Mason Smith, obviously. And I do, just watching him today, I was pretty encouraged by the way he was moving. We're still 3.5 weeks out to the start of the season, a little over that or by a day or so, but hopefully.
And the world's not perfect. You know, I mean, look, every team's got to have some issues to deal with, right? And so if he gets back and it's like towards the regular season, so be it. You know, then you coach him up when you get the opportunity. But I think the one thing that you definitely don't want to do is have a setback and then all of a sudden his availability is in question for the season, right? You know, so you got to be really smart about it, you know, and it's kind of a balance because, you know, you want to go to what I was just talking about a little bit ago. You want him to get the reps and to get ready, and he's raw and he needs time. But at the same token, that all goes out the window if all of a sudden the body fails and he can't play.
Obviously Pittsburgh was able to do basically whatever they wanted to, you know, in the past game. There was a lot of space out there on defense for him. Were you surprised that there was that much space based on what you saw in training camp to this point and the scrimmage the previous Friday? Did it just feel like they were playing defense a little bit differently than you thought maybe they would be?
Well, it didn't meet the expectations I think that they had. I don't think it met the expectations that I had. I don't think the players met the expectations that they had. Here's the thing that I think was concerning. I don't want to say concerning. That needs to be fixed, you know, and that's why you have preseason. Look, I mean, the reality is nobody's perfect, but you got to get the call. You got to get lined up before the ball is snapped. And they had a major issue in this game and I don't know if it was communication coming in from the sideline. You know, look, you got a first-time defensive coordinator and Anthony Campanelli. It looked like at times that either there was confusion getting the calls or what the calls were. And then you had times where the 4 defensive linemen didn't even have their hands completely on the ground ready to go when the ball was snapped. And linebackers were still communicating with defensive backs and trying to coordinate. And look, Liam Cohn talked to us yesterday, Mike, for SiriusXM NFL Radio, and said that we need to get our cleats set and get ready to play.
Right.
And that's really the whole part of what he was talking about, is that, look, we gotta do a better job as coaches and get the call in there, and then they have to do a better job of getting the call and getting lined up. Because, I mean, the reality is that if you're late getting the call, you're not even seeing what the formation is. You're not reading stances. You're not, getting the keys that you've studied all week, because your mind's not working to that point yet. Your mind's working on, I got to get lined up, and is so-and-so lined up right? Is he okay? Are we okay? And then you're not even looking at the opponent yet. And so that's something that is going to be a big step for this defense this week, is getting that fixed.
How do you fix that? Like, it's obviously something they've worked on this offseason, right? And Liam Cohen infamously said, hey, you can't worry about, and I'm paraphrasing, can't worry about beating somebody else until you stop beating yourself. Mm-hmm. Told us yesterday, basically, to take it back to almost a Pop Warner level of, here's where you're supposed to stand, mm-hmm. right? I mean, which is pretty fundamental, it would seem. I got to imagine, Lugs, they didn't just start working on this last week, right? So if it hasn't clicked in, I get it, it's the first game, real game setting for these guys. If it hasn't clicked in after several months, how much can get cleaned up in the next 3.5 weeks?
Well, I think it can be dramatic. And I don't know, did they have headset issues? Was there a communication issue between the helmets that have the microphone? I don't know if there was any of that, but yeah, it's got to get cleaned up. I haven't seen any of that all year. And I will say this, is that it's kind of surprising. Pittsburgh comes out in a game, and in the very first series, they're running tempo.
Yep.
And a lot of teams in preseason aren't really going to run tempo, mm-hmm. because it's just they want to make sure that everybody's getting the call. And, look, they're not trying to get 100 plays in a preseason game, because they want to just make sure that they get through it healthy. And so when Pittsburgh went tempo, I said, ooh, that's really going to be challenging for a defense that probably hasn't seen a lot of tempo yet in training camp. In the 2-minute they have, but have you seen a lot of it in the regular defenses and the base downs? Mm-hmm. No, probably not. So, it's, again, a perfect opportunity for it to happen in the preseason. So now if it gets to the regular season, you've worked on it, you've corrected it, and now you move forward and get better.
Yeah, it was noticeable. Like Pittsburgh, I think they huddled maybe 3 times in the first half, right? Like they were at the line of scrimmage constantly, and you could see it on the defense, as you said. Guys aren't even getting set before the snap happens. But it's good for that to happen week 1 of the preseason, so that you can do something about it.
Way better than against Carolina.
No doubt. Obviously they had the couple sacks in the game, but it wasn't from any of the frontline guys. Like there just wasn't a whole lot of pressure early, and part of that is exactly what we're talking about here. Like they just weren't set in a lot of these circumstances. I think fans have reacted to it, so we'll ask average on a 2nd and long.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, look, I think that all great pass rushers at times need to do that, because here's the reality, offenses game plan for really good players. Okay. And so when you game plan for really good players, you're a lot of times sliding protection towards that really good player. And so if you run a fire zone, to give people an idea and to make it very easy to understand, if Josh Hines Allen is on the left side, okay, and so the opponent is wanting to push everything towards his side, and the Jaguars drop him, and then they bring pressure on the other side, now you're actually attacking a side that is maybe weakened a little bit, because it's all pushing over towards Josh or towards Trayvon and Josh if they're both lined up on the same side. So having Josh drop and Trayvon drop at times, I think it's smart. So for the people that think that, now look, if it's happening, 10 times a game, that's a problem. Okay, but if it's happening a couple times a game, that's just smart game planning, and schematically, it's attacking an opponent in a very positive way. So I think sometimes there can be an overreaction to that. But look at T.J. Watt, look at Myles Garrett. Those guys drop sometimes too, and the whole purpose is to free others, and it's about the team. It's not about Josh or not about T.J. Watt or Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's one of those that it can be successful 20 times in a row, but the first time somebody hits a big play
and
in that circumstance,
Can't believe they dropped him.
Well, it's true. I mean, we've been hearing it for years. It doesn't really matter. If it happens on a big play and you fail to execute, they beat the Titans to close out the 2022 regular season in large part on a play where Josh Hines-Allen was dropping into coverage. We talked about that as well over time. But, so if it works, it works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like whatever methodology your head coach used to get your team ready, if you win in week one, that was a good
it was just like another, the piling on of a bunch of fans that feel like, well, nothing changed on defense.
Right,
and then they see Josh Hines-Allen dropping back and they're like, really nothing changed on defense.
No,
like
I get it.
That's how they feel. That's the reaction that we're getting.
When I was with Pete Carroll in New York, and which was Pete's first year in the league and second, third, fourth, fifth year in the league, we had, and he instituted a defense to where we dropped into coverage at times, just like you're seeing there. And he actually mixed it up. We had the nose tackle dropping into pass coverage at times. We had a pretty athletic nose tackles, but he mixed it up in that way just so that you could keep the opponent off balance. So nothing wrong with that. And I get the frustration sometimes with it, but I'm looking forward to watching this defense make a big step in week 2 because they need to, number one. But number two is that, my expectations of this defense this year are very high. When I say high, you go back and you look at the Green Bay defense over the last couple of years, and I've said this before. They were a defense that was very clean, very mistake-free, and they were very competitive. When I say competitive, they contested balls. They made the opponent fight for every yard they had. They never had mental errors that allowed explosive plays, things that we saw with the defense last year. And I believe that Campanelli will get this defense into that kind of mode. But, again, it's preseason week 1. I don't want to overreact again because going back to what you said, Mike, the Detroit Lions, undefeated in the preseason, didn't win many games.
Didn't win any games.
So let's take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Right. Then again, you had the Ravens who won like 24 in a row, and they're consistently a high-level team, right?
Exactly.
I mean, whatever you do in the regular season, whatever you did in the preseason, if you were successful in the regular season, you had a good preseason.
Here's what I like, though. You got a whole new organizational structure. You've got a whole new culture trying to be established, and you feel good about yourself, right? You're working all through the offseason and OTAs and then mini camp. And then training camp, you're feeling good about, have a good scrimmage, you feel good about. And then your first opportunity against somebody else didn't go as well as you wanted it. Well, a little cold water in the face. Let's get back to work, right? I mean, so kind of like that.
All right, check the tape Tuesday, first edition of 2025. We'll keep it on the defense. We come back, plenty of questions for Jeff on the offensive line, the running back room, and others. And, of course, the debut of Travis Hunter. We'll get to all that and more. Coming up, you can send us your questions on social media or on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. Checking the tape with Jeff Lageman on Jaguars Today on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Superior products, exceptional service.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durban Park, Butler Point, and now in Ortega Park. Chicken Salad Chick.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there as number 2 overall draft pick Travis Hunter, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and new head coach Liam Cohen take the field for the first time during the 2025 NFL regular season. Secure your seats for when the Jaguars take on the Panthers September 7th by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank. This is Hayes Carlyon for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. The online banking services are outstanding. So easy to use. Depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. I also go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the Durbin location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, got a minute?
Always. What's on your mind?
This time of year, my air conditioner is running non-stop. Hot all day, hot all night. It has to run constantly just to keep up.
Well, that's what they do.
But if something happens to it in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, I'm in trouble, Jason. I can't wait 3 days or 2 days or even the next day for service. If you can't get someone here today, I'm sweating by tonight. What if it breaks, Jason?
You call me, pal. That's what we do. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
But you're probably swamped with calls from everyone else's AC that ran nonstop and then broke in a heat wave, so they called you because that's what you do.
But we always have room for an emergency. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we have techs standing by because we know these things happen.
So I don't need to worry. Wow. That time you calmed me down without even using the sunglasses.
Oh, I was reaching for them.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us all better, faster, stronger.
Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, with Jeff Lageman, Check the Tape Tuesday. The season of those kicks off today. This one from Duval Doom on Twitter. He wonders if Liam Cohen asked Mike Tomlin to run a little tempo to kind of shock his guys. It's possible, because they do confer about a few different things about how they want to handle things, Lugs. But I would think that if you're not planning on running tempo with your second team, I don't know if you're going to go that far to help the other guy prepare his defense. You know what I mean? If that's not what you want to work on in that game.
Yeah, so. I'd be surprised if that was shared.
Yeah, me too.
But I think it was good, right? I mean, I'm glad it happened. I mean, if there was ever a moment to have that happen to this defense, it was the first preseason game.
Sure.
So kudos to Mike Tomlin, and he probably gave the Jaguars a great learning opportunity. And I'm glad they got that opportunity now instead of in September.
No doubt. This one from Ed for the defense. How much of the problem in pass defense was mental errors versus players just getting beat physically?
Well, I go back to getting lined up. You got to get lined up first, and then you can take care of all your responsibilities. So getting lined up was the number one responsibility with the communication. Got to be better. It's got to be quicker. And with the tempo, that even made it more challenging. But there were some plays that weren't necessarily high tempo that they were having a hard time getting lined up because of the play coming in. So it's not all on that. But, I think that it will get better. The zone concepts that they were having an issue with, there was a lot of just 3-deep zone, and that's kind of what it was a 3-deep, 4 underneath, and they were having a hard time in the seams. And part of that is awareness. When you play a zone, a lot of people think, okay, you drop to a spot and you cover an area. You're not covering blades of grass. I mean, anybody can do that. Me and you and Tony, we can all go out and be the three deep guys and cover blades of grass. But you've got to be able to relate to the players within all those blades of grass. It's not about covering, again, one single blade of grass. So they got to relate a little bit better. And again, I think a lot of that goes to getting lined up and then knowing what you're doing so that you can execute it once the ball is snapped.
Sometimes the naked eye doesn't tell the full tale of the tape. So you tell us after watching it again, Tyson Campbell's performance, what went right, what went wrong?
I thought he's solid, solid. I don't think there was anything that was earth-shattering. I don't, with Tyson, he's one of those guys that he's been so good in training camp, day in and day out. One preseason game with 10, 11 snaps is not going to end up kind of being the ultimate judgment for me on him, just because he's been so good. And he's been good against really good wide receivers in practice. And I think that's a great opportunity that the defense has been getting in practice, because you've got three guys that are legitimate deep threats, number one, and that are really good players on top of that. Now, one of them's the ultimate guy, and Brian Thomas Jr., he's proven it, got the numbers. The other two guys are working to kind of get there, but it's been great work for the defense in practice.
Tyson was obviously the player nearest on the Washington touchdown on that first series for Pittsburgh. You've had the opportunity to watch
tight end in the seam.
Yeah, what happened on the play?
That's not Tyson. I mean, it's cover three. I mean, number one, you'd like to have a linebacker drop a little bit deeper to where the ball's got to get elevated more, and then it gives the safety maybe a little bit more time to react. So a lot of times people want to assign blame to just one. It's really kind of goes to more guys than just one. I mean, Tyson's a three-deep player. I mean, it's not very often that you have a third player off to one side expected to cover a tight end down the seam. That typically falls on a linebacker or a safety.
All right, let's go to the phones for the first time on this Check the Tape Tuesday on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Steve in Melbourne wants to talk Travis Hunter, it seems. Steve, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Before I ask my question to Jeff, Tony, the vacation we had to Helen, Georgia, it was beautiful out there. You were 100% right.
Awesome. Glad you loved it.
And, Jeff, my question is for you, and this is just something I heard on a show with a Jaguar media guy you're well familiar with Pete. He mentioned that possibly we might see Travis a little more on the defense compared to the offense, but we see him more doing offensive work because you played the sport. Clearly a difference in size between the offensive playbook and defensive playbook, and his natural position is a little more corner. And
I don't agree with that, by the way. Let me just jump in right there. I don't necessarily agree with that. Corner is his more natural position. I've kind of said this since he was drafted. I think the best position for him is wide receiver. But sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I mean, in a way, I can kind of see it. I mean, he seems a natural athlete. You could tell he goes up for the ball, great hands and everything. But I also know we have a bit of a pass situation. Now, mind you, it's a new scheme, new communication, everything of that nature. But in a way, I could also kind of see it just because also we're seeing in camp the emergence of Parker Washington on a daily basis at practice. Him maybe a little more in the slot. But, I mean, it's all speculatory and everything. And I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts about that because, I mean, in the game, you could tell he was so fluent in coverage and everything and his instincts and all that. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, his coverage was great. I mean, talk about blanketing the guy.
He mirrors routes.
Yeah, he's talented. And, I think that there's going to be challenges really on both sides. And I'll start with one that I didn't even think of until the game started, is that Travis is a star. He's a superstar. And much like, the WNBA, and they've got a superstar, and she kind of gets picked on, I think that players are going to run at Travis Hunter.
Yeah, that first defensive rep after the play, it went well after the whistle.
I think we're going to see quite a bit of that this year. And I think Travis mentally is probably going to have to get ready for some of that because I'm sure there's players that are jealous of his star. And the reality is he's a really good player, and he's getting ready to do something, and players want to end up taking on an alpha dog and show that they got a little alpha dog in them as well, and I'm okay with that, and Travis has just got to make sure that he keeps his composure, and I believe he fully will, but getting to the question, offensively, he's so smooth. His body control is top-notch. The playbook, and he's right, the playbook is so expansive on offense because, Trevor was telling us yesterday, Mike, you remember this, Trevor was saying when we call a huddle, first of all, the verbiage is extensive, and we're basically calling 2 plays in the huddle so that we can be put in the best position as an offense. So the playbook is, again, it's very large on offense. The defensive playbook is not that big. So the challenge for Travis is to spend more time on offense as he's been doing because it's more to learn. But I also think that the challenge for the offense with Travis Hunter is that, look, if Travis Hunter is a one-position player and you don't have the flexibility to move him around a little bit or to move Brian Thomas around a little bit, it makes you more predictable. So they're going to have him spend more time on offense so that he can learn that bigger playbook, that he can get the reps and to be able to learn so the offense can do different things with him and Brian Thomas Jr. and everybody else, that personnel-wise, Parker Washington included. And defensively, you're probably going to have packages for him. And what are those packages? My expectation is, and look, I don't know if this is true or not, but I would expect him to be a left corner. Most teams are right-handed, okay? Most teams, their best corner is a left corner, even though Tyson Campbell has been a right corner his whole career. So have him play left corner in nickel package only, then that kind of lowers the amount of total reps that he's going to take in a game and allows him to concentrate on a singular package on defense and give him time to work on all of the packages, which are an 11 personnel on offense, which are 3 wide. A lot of people say, well, what is 11 personnel? 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. When they go to, regular personnel, which is, tight end and 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, Travis Hunter probably will not be involved in that initially.
All right, more with Jeff Lageman coming up, including more on Travis Hunter. If you want to get in with your thoughts, your questions, 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines is one of the easiest ways to do it. We'll come back, continue to check the tape with Logs, including coming up, a look at the offensive line performance from Saturday night. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Jaguars football lives here. Next up, the New Orleans Saints. Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roofing Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through August 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roofing Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
as soon as possible
at 641-1010.
Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Circa Resort and Casino has 2 epic pro football contests, Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Circa Million, pick 5 games weekly against the spread for $1 million grand prize. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no spread, last one standing wins $15 million. Enter at any Circa in Nevada, play anywhere. Sign up for either and get 50% off a 2-night stay. Helmets and Heels will be live from Circa in Vegas on August 22nd. Full contest details at circasports.com and the 1010XL homepage.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Leonard Skinner is coming home, and they're bringing the Stars and Stripes. Celebrate Southern rock and American pride with Leonard Skinner Rocks the Red, White, and Blue. It's a special night to support St. Michael's soldiers and the brave men and women of our armed forces.
Singing songs about Southland.
Saturday, November 8th at Daly's Place. Tickets on sale Wednesday, August 13th, only at Ticketmaster. DailysPlace.com for details. Be there when Skinner rocks for those who serve.
I'm Frank Frange, and you've heard me tell you how much success my daughter Amber is having with the Awaken 180 weight loss program. But Amber, maybe it's time you should tell them.
I think they'd rather hear from you, Dad. You're the radio guy.
Yeah, but in this case, you're the one doing all the work.
But that's the thing, Dad. It doesn't feel like work. The food is great. I never feel hungry. My coach, Mary, is so good, so encouraging. If you follow the plan, Awaken 180 really works.
Well, everyone I know that's tried it has said the same thing. The result is people not only look better, but they feel better. I've kind of known you your whole life, and I can tell you feel great.
I feel better than I have in years. I love that part. I feel so good. I have Awaken 180 to thank for that.
So you heard it from my kid, and you can feel great too. Just call 1-844-346-1800. That's 1-844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com and start your transformation today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, check the tape Tuesday, first edition of 2025. Hopefully we'll have some victorious tape to check, Tony, during the regular season.
That is the plan.
You know, I'm
right?
not going to worry about the next couple, whether they win or not, although, please, Lord, beat the Saints, man. I mean, come on. All right, logs from Code Blue on Twitter. No sacks on Saturday. Who impressed you the most on the offensive line?
A lot of guys did. I think the offensive line play, I think, was one of the better points of the game. There's a lot of guys to look out there. I mean, heck, from the starting group to the backups.
You think Anton Harrison's playing very well?
I think he's having a tremendous camp and very consistent. Didn't like the false start on before the first play happened. I mean,
wasn't ideal.
Come on. But overall, he's been really good. And
by the way, he was back at practice today for folks who wondered because he missed because of illness, whatever. Or no, personal excuse day. Yeah.
Yeah, I go back to the scrimmage when he got reps at left tackle. And when I watched him play, I'm like, that's pretty interesting. I mean, just saying, I didn't know. And at the time, I mentioned that, look, I don't know why they were doing that. Are they just repping it? Or are they thinking about something? But he didn't get any reps at left tackle in that first preseason game. It'll be interesting to see how that kind of evolves through the preseason because, look, you're trying to find the best combination of offensive linemen to start the season with. And, I think it's an interesting battle. It's one of the better positions. So if you go back in the offseason, we were talking about how are they going to get better. They significantly improved the offensive line and the competition within the offensive line, and they did it two ways. Through the draft, there's two young players that I absolutely love, and they did it in free agency with a couple guys that I think are going to raise the standard for this whole group.
Excuse me, Tone, one sec. just Wyatt Milam got some praise for how he played. Even Liam Cohen kind of singled him out. What do you see? Where do you think he might best fit in?
You might say he's one of the best 5 offensive linemen.
Okay, but where? Right tackle? Guard?
That's great. That's a great question. Could it be guard spot? Because, look, the reality is he's played left guard, left tackle, right guard, right tackle, and he's played it all pretty well. And this past game he played the tackles, didn't play guard any, I don't think. But the right guard spot's been the one that's been kind of a revolving door in preseason because of injury as well with Edoga and McCary. So could it be right guard? Could it be right tackle and Anton maybe swings to left? I don't know the answer to that. And I'm just saying is that he's in the hunt, so to speak, to use the Jaguars, program as the terminology there. He's in the hunt, so to speak, as being in the conversation about being one of the 5 best offensive linemen, and it's impressive. He's one of the best, and this is early, incredibly impressive to this point. And I don't remember an offensive line. I have to go back and look at the draft to where you're at this point in training camp and you're watching a draft pick offensive lineman and you're this impressed, or I'm talking about me personally, to where I've been this impressed. Been fantastic.
We still got 3 weeks of practice. We got a couple weeks of preseason games still to play. But if you had to, talking about the offensive line right now, you mentioned Milam maybe being one of the 5 best. Anton Harrison, where exactly does he fit in? You think he's playing really well, but is that left or right for him? So if you had to pick the 5 right now, who are their 5 best on field?
I think right now, just because you got to get a level of trust for a young player, probably start with your guys that you got. McCary at right guard, Anton at right tackle, Hainsey at center, and Ezra Cleveland's having an awesome camp at left guard, and then Walker Little at left tackle. And then you willing to adjust and adapt as you go. If there's performances that aren't where you need it, then you can make some changes. But again, it's great to have these conversations, because we're talking about Edoga in that conversation. We're talking about Wyatt Milam in this conversation. And the reality is that they've got a rookie center that's playing really well too. And Monheim, he's
played a bunch of snaps on Saturday.
Played a lot of snaps at left guard. And then Fortner got the bulk of the snaps at center. And then eventually Monheim late went to center. And then they brought in one of the other guys at left guard. I think it was Tremon Ankrum.
Yeah.
So,
before we hit the break, we got one on the lines of scrimmage. James on the south side wants to talk about that. James, you're on Check the Tape Tuesday here on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
This is an interesting conversation y'all having about the people that's vying for these spots at the offensive line position. But to me, until we have guys that can excel as far as their peers in the league on both offensive lines and defensive line, we just talking about guys who've been average at best here in Jacksonville. So to me, until we see guys that from a league-wide perspective going to excel at their position, we just talking about average. That's just my assessment on both lines of scrimmage, particularly on defense at tackle. So thank you all for taking my call.
Appreciate it.
James it brings up a great point. The reality is that, and I don't even know if we're talking about average in the past. It's actually been below average. When it comes to the offensive line, it's kind of why we're where we're at. And the whole purpose of getting to average or better than average is to bring in competition and improve the level of play. And I think that they've done a very good job of bringing in the players to do that. And so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I understand his point, though. We're trying to identify the best 5 Jaguars, but how good is that group compared to their peers around the league?
Yeah.
Time's going to tell.
Totally get it. Yeah. And that's, I get it. Like if you were to compare that to Philadelphia,
of course,
and their offensive line, you're not there, and there's a really good offensive line you're going to see this week in New Orleans that has been building their offensive line kind of along the same lines as the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, another hour to go with Jeff Lageman. Checking the tape for the first time in 2025. Your call is welcome on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for my friends at Dandy Foods. Coming up on their 70th anniversary. You know, I've been talking about Dandy for over a decade now, and just about every time I talk about their delicious products or the fact that they're a family business serving Jacksonville for almost 7 decades, one thing I probably don't say enough, this is it's never frozen, folks. Always made fresh, delivered fresh. That's the Dandy difference. You're going to see other brands out there, but they're more than likely just thawed out and cold fresh. You can tell in the bread especially. It's not all dry and crumbly when you open it. Soft, and nobody wants a dried out sandwich. The Thompson family, creators of Dandy, understand that. And for me, when I see their logo with the little dude with the cane, it tells me I'm going to get a trusted brand and a quality sandwich made with fresh bread, fresh meats, and cheeses as well. And don't forget, Dandy will deliver party subs and platters for you as well. So the next time you're out and about, do what I do. Stop into a Circle K store and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Start your day with a smile.
We sing and dance. Yeah, you know.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
Together they are The Drill.
It's like we got another show to do.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Great.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Got a leak or a clog? Or are old galvanized pipes causing low water pressure? At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we don't just fix plumbing issues. We solve them for good. And unlike other plumbers in the area, Superior Plumbing and Pipelining will never charge you to diagnose a problem. From simple plumbing repairs to trenchless pipelining, our estimates are free. And we can reline your cast iron pipes without making a mess of your yard. You have many choices for plumbing work. Make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipeline. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 12th, 1994, the MLB Players Association goes on strike, leading to the cancellation of the World Series. A dark day for baseball.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 7-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award, earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Visit nimnickchevy.com to learn more. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right. Where do you go? The answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Coke Zero Sugar 400 returns as the NASCAR Cup Series regular season finale. Answer this question for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 23rd. Who won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010. Who won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010 for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by TopDressing.com. FSU junior Randy Pittman Jr. and sophomore Landon Thomas are on the Mackey Award watch list. Pittman had 32 catches for 416 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2024 when he started 10 of UCF's 12 games. Thomas appeared in all 12 games for the Noles and started the final 7 for Florida State as a true freshman in 2024, catching 14 passes for 173 yards and 1 touchdown. Right now, 88 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
If you've got specifics for Jeff Lageman, we're happy to pass those along. Tony will take us around the league coming up here shortly. Logs. Here's just a general question from Cobalt Blue. On Saturday night, who did their job extremely well? Give us an example of somebody you thought played very well.
I'll go to the end of the first half, and everybody wants to talk about the 70-yard field goal and point to that, but I'm going to go to the plays leading up to it. You know, you got a 1st and 10 after the kickoff, and I believe it was about the 32. You're thinking at that point, you know, we were in the booth, and I was saying, you know, probably in a regular game, you're thinking about just taking the knee and going in at the half. You know, but your first play is the big indicator. Well, first play, they're looking down the field. There's nothing there. There's a dump off to Bashal Tootin on the right in the middle, and he breaks out to the right flat a little bit, turns around. There's a guy on him immediately. Somehow he makes that guy miss, which I have no idea how he made that guy miss, and then has a gain of about 13. So now you're out about the 45-yard line. 2nd down, you're incomplete. 3rd down, now you're looking at 6 seconds. And you're trying to get a stoppage. You got timeouts in your pocket, so it's got to be quick. You got to go to the boundary or make a catch on the field of play and then give yourself up and get a timeout. Bashal Tootin, again, on the 3rd down, because 2nd down was incomplete. 3rd down, Bashal Tootin gets a little dump off because they ran all slants. They didn't really work the boundary, which is, I think, in a real game you would. Bashal Tootin has the awareness to make the catch and go down to give himself up, and then timeout happens with 1 second. Now you got an opportunity at the 70-yard field goal. Well, nobody wants to talk about Bashal Tootin leading up to that. Guys, I love him. Absolutely love him. And
what'd you see on the touchdown run from him, the 8-yarder?
He's just powerful. You know, I mean, and here's the thing. We haven't even seen the speed. You saw it today.
Today, yeah, he busted one. He popped one to the outside and outraced Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis was sprinting after him. He wasn't pulling away, but he definitely wasn't closing the gap on him either. So would have been a 50-yarder.
I believe he was like the fastest running back in
the draft.
At the draft. And, you know, he had the issues at Virginia Tech, and really the only knock on him was that he had fumbling issues. Yeah. Okay, so let's see where that goes. I mean, look, Tiki Barber had fumbling issues. They got corrected by Tom Coughlin, you know, about how he carries the ball and everything. You know, I don't know if Bashal Tootin isn't the best running back on this roster.
I don't know that either. I think a lot of people think he will show that by the second half of the season. As of right now,
if I'm fantasy guy, Mike, I'm taking that guy.
Well, I've been doing it all summer. In all seriousness, I mean, I've been watching this, Tone, because you know we come in every day. All we're telling you is what we see. Yeah, and we see Tank Bigsby getting the first rep of almost every team period, right? And so to say that, I don't, think he's going to be the starter. Well, based on what they're showing you, like they're putting him out on the first play, that is the starter. Yeah. Now, you go to the preseason game, which means more, and they switch it over to Travis Etienne. Etienne did take the first rep of team drills, by the way, today. So opening day, what do you think the roles are going to be for the backs?
I wouldn't be surprised if opening day, kind of along the same lines of the offensive line, that you go with the guys that have been here, but then that will evolve. It's sometimes you're
lean
willing,
on the vets early.
Yeah, so I think sometimes you're willing to go with the incumbent early in the season until you can kind of take the newness off of the shine off of the games for the rookies, and then you can get to the point where you trust them. But running back, I think, is always a position that is constantly changing about your thoughts. And you think about who's got the hot hand, and we see and hear that term often when it comes to running backs and the running back position. And I think this is no different for this football team going forward this year.
Look, I think the screen game is going to be such a big part of what they want to do offensively that fits ETN. It would feel like a glove. It seems like it would fit Tootin pretty well as well. We saw Tank with an opportunity to make that catch along the sideline. He just dropped the ball. I don't know if he would have gotten the first down on the play or not.
Mm-hmm.
The defender's right there to make a play. And when you're watching it live on TV, I was like, oh, he knocked it away. And then you see the replay. He's like, no, he dropped it. Is what happened on that play. So it does feel like with the style of offense that they want to run and how much the screen is going to be a part of it. I mean, that was ETN's most effective play on Saturday, was that little screen pass where he got upfield and got the 10 yards on it. It does feel like that gives the advantage, it would seem to me, to ETN and Tootin in that regard. And whenever they kind of want the big body, we just want to run it between the tackles, maybe that's where Tank's role is likely going to wind up being for whatever that means in this offense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch because, look, you got some good players. ETN's a good player, but, the other night he missed a cut. It was like, come on, man. I mean, that's, you got to make that play.
He cut right into the guy that was blocked.
Yeah, you got to make that play. And, and look, that's never kind of been his forte. Two things with ETN. Great speed, does all the things the right way, good in protection, got good hands, really good hands. But sometimes the vision isn't where you want it to be. And then when I say that, how many times have you seen ETN take big shots?
All the time.
Yeah. And part of the reason for that is that the vision's not there to make the moves, to kind of get on the edges of guys, so he's not getting
right. Get
whacked.
Yourself small. No, don't take that killer shot.
Looking at the TV a minute ago, and the great Emmitt Smith, and of course Hall of Famer, arguably one of the best backs in history. But what made Emmitt so good was that he had the vision to make the small moves, which enabled him to use his power to run through people. And ETN doesn't have that vision to make that subtle move to get on the edges of a guy to either run through or whatever. A lot of times he's getting hit pretty good.
I think we've seen LaQuint Allen, impress us in training camp at times, right? But I did find it interesting, and it may just have been the way Liam Cohen phrased it yesterday when I asked him about the running back performances, and he goes, all three of our guys look good. Like there's a clear three in his, at least that's the way it came out. Or all three of our guys had their moments, something along those lines. And he was clearly talking about ETN, Bigsby, and Tootin. Where do you think LaQuint Allen fits in?
I think he fits in very well. I think he's going to be a third down back at times. His protection is outstanding. And he's got what I love about him the most is that he's got edge and attitude. Like throwing today, a little altercation at practice today with Combs, the linebacker from Wake Forest, who, by the way, I really like. He just brings that zest to an offensive huddle and the ultimate competitiveness. So I think he brings a lot to the table. And I'll tell you this, I think they love him. You think
as of today that they'll keep 4 tailbacks?
Yeah, I think they keep 4.
Okay.
I think the interesting thing, too, is that with Allen, he's going to be good on special teams, too. In the past, you always had kind of 2 backs that were the main focus, and then you had the third guy was a special teamer. Where's that at? So there's a couple things that are going to be very interesting to watch as we still kind of move through this preseason and get to the eventual cut-down day, is that you've had in the past a wide receiver that was a special teamer, and then you also had a running back that was a special teamer. Can you really pinpoint either one of those positions right now on this roster as being wide receiver special teamer, running back special teamer?
Not to the degree like Tim Jones was that guy, where he was clearly being kept for that prowess. I don't know what Cephas and guy. I think Trenton Irwin has looked good at times out there. You don't think so?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, doesn't have great speed, doesn't have great movement. Look, I think he's a solid guy, but you're not looking for solid. You go back to what Liam Cohn talks about. We're looking for players that have an edge, and an edge sometimes is an attitude, but an edge also sometimes is your individual superpower, as James Gladstone likes to call it.
All right, more with Jeff Lageman, including your specific questions. Got several more coming in here on social media that we'll pass along to Jeff on a Check the Tape Tuesday straight ahead. Keep it here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for big number one Duval Ford, Jacksonville's easily number one Ford dealer. They've been in business for over 110 years, a legacy business right here in Jacksonville. They've got an unbeatable selection of F-150s, Super Duties, Broncos, you name it, transparent pricing, fast trade appraisals, no pressure buying experience, and the service department has to be seen to be the lead. Whether you're just an individual automobile owner or maybe a fleet manager, they've got your back with the elite service at Duval Ford. Check them out on Cassett Avenue, online at duvalford.com.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Get hit by the man in the back, Tommy Mack.
I'm bringing you straight to the gridiron to show you what it's like to put on the Jags helmet and pads.
Fridays on Jaguars Today. Unlocked by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. The Everbank London Getaway Experience. One lucky winner and a guest get round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and tickets to see the Jags play in London. Everbank.com/London for official rules. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Everbank London Getaway Sweeps entry period 7/28/25 to 9/5/25. Enter and get official rules and details at everbank.com/London.
Florida heat hitting like a heavyweight? Time to call in the champ. KO Electric and HVAC. We knock out the heat and power up your comfort. Fast, reliable, and undefeated in home service. KOElectricJacks.com. KOElectricJacks.com.
Discuss the beautiful game. The Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Get an hour of soccer talk Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. It's Renewal by Anderson's triple savings month. Get $300 off windows and $825 off patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires August 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned, whether you're sitting or standing. If you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks, and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jacks. Go Jags.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass.
If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, checking in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can always hit the program up at 641-1010 there as well. Logs, going back to what you're talking about with guys getting set early on, the Steelers running a little bit of tempo. Someone feeding into that said, hey, yeah, the defense not being set when the offense snaps the ball. There's a pattern, in their opinion, over the last 3 to 4 years with this group, the Jaguars, that obviously the league has had that code that these guys don't get on the ball quickly. And they claim that's not the coordinator, that's not the scheme, that's the players. You tell me your reaction to that.
Oh, well, I think it's very presumptive to say that it's on the players. It could be a lot of it. It could be the coach. It could be the players. It could be the communication. It could be the technology. I mean, look, I don't know the exact reason why. The simple fact is, though, is that you got to get it fixed.
No doubt about that. One specific question on defense. Yasir Abdullah, Bush Drive Rich, wanted to know what have you seen from him? How did he play? And just what is your opinion on where he stands right now?
I thought he played pretty good. You know, he's the Sam linebacker, and then, you know, for him to make it, he has to be a valuable Sam linebacker and then really valuable on special teams. And he's got his work cut out for him because Gardeck is the guy that has kind of been there, done that. And he's coming back from an injury, didn't play the other night in the first preseason game. I'm looking forward to watching him play. Everything you hear about him has been very good, and he's also gives them some pass rush, which is, you know, you look at that performance the other night, you say they need some more. And because, you know, I don't know if you would necessarily keep 2 Sam linebackers. You know, we'll have to see how that works out. But I like him. You know, he's been very active. He moves pretty well. He moves better going forward just because it's more natural for him because he was kind of an edge player, you know, in his collegiate career where linebacker has been an adjustment for him.
What do you think the role ultimately will be? And do you think Antonio Johnson's going to wind up on the 53? But what do you think his role would be?
Great question. And that's something that still, I think, if you ask the coaches and you know, we're going to get an honest answer, they may not know yet. You know, I still think that they're looking at every player's value, performance to determine what they're going to do at that position. You know, because here's the reality. I think the one guy that is an absolute lock at safety is Daniel Thomas because he's really good on special teams. Wingard, obviously, really strong special teams player, has played really well when he's been given the opportunity. You know, and Antonio is in the mix, you know, with Savage and everybody else.
Eric Murray, they describe as an elite communicator. Logs. I don't know if that showed up Saturday. I don't know if any of it was his fault. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like even though they listed him as a co-starter with Savage, I've seen nothing out at practice to indicate that Eric Murray won't be the starting strong safety, at least at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. We'll kind of see how it plays out. But I mean, look, it's a battle. I mean, that's. And, you know, I don't know. You have battles that, like the running back room, it's a battle, right? And I think that battle can result in really elevating the play. And there are some battles that you just want good play.
Right, somebody to survive it. Give you one decent option.
I don't know if we're talking about an elite battle here at performance levels. But somebody's got to rise up. And the one thing I will say about Antonio Johnson, great ball skills. He's got size. He's got range. In his rookie year, I go back to his rookie year because he had a fantastic rookie year. And he gives you special teams value.
Kind of the same drill on corner, right? If you presume Tyson is going to start at one spot, Jordan Lewis, at least the way they listed him initially, was the starter even on the outside in base, and he'll be your nickel, and they'll play a lot of nickel. But Monteric had been playing pretty well, and obviously he's sidelined right now. Jarian Jones, Travis Hunter, and Travis Hunter's not just being given that spot. And we all saw what he was able to do, following receivers the other night. But Jarian's had a really good camp as well. So, like, opening game, how do you see this playing out for that group?
I think, like what we've seen, the variable or the unknown is Travis Hunter, Jarian Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be interesting there. I mean, if it were me, I'm playing Travis Hunter. He's an elite level athlete with great ball skills and can change the game. Jarian Jones, very good player, getting better.
Are they doing enough, in your opinion, I know they got a plan, but to ramp Travis Hunter up? I saw D-Rock tweet out today, and these guys that can track this, I don't know how they do it, right? But D-Rock is like, here's how many in 11 on 11s. Here's how often Travis Hunter's been on the field in offense, on defense. Here's the total snaps in 11 on 11s. Like, okay, God bless you if you can keep up with that exact
D-Rock
number.
is on it, man.
I know he was.
He's on it.
But he said basically Travis Hunter has played 42% of the snaps in team situations. That's not what they're saying that they're bringing in Travis Hunter to be, a 42% of the time player. They're talking about him being a full-time two-way guy. Now, that doesn't mean 100% of the snaps, but do you anticipate that number to significantly rise in the next few weeks?
I think for the games, yeah. Practice, look, you can't expect him to be like 65, 70% of the snaps on defense in a practice just because, you're going to wear him out. It's just like, you got to pick and choose and how you prepare him for a game. And this, from this aspect, I give Liam Cohn a lot of credit. First of all, he's a first-year head coach that's got enough stuff to worry about. Now he's also trying to figure out how to get a superstar, two-way player to get ready for the season. And I know there's been a lot of communication back and forth between Liam and Travis, and he told us that yesterday in the interview that we did with him. And and Liam's handled it very well. But I think there's a process of getting Travis Hunter ready that you also don't want to wear him out, because game day is where it's at. That's where you're going to see, okay, the full Monty of reps and that come to fruition. Whereas in practice, you just want to control it so that you just, again, don't wear him out.
Jeff, you also mentioned that we saw it against the Steelers on Saturday, that when he went on the field on defense, that they were willing to kind of play after the whistle with him a little bit, right? And I think he's going to be facing a lot of that as we go through the year. We already mentioned he was great in coverage, right? Like, he was just so smooth on that side of it. When he got tested on the run game, right, and the Steelers shifted, and now he's the edge defender on the left side of the defense. That's where the missed tackle came in. What did you see on that play? What level of concern, if any, is that for you, given teams are going to see that kind of thing and they're going to know if we can get him in that position, we can take advantage of it? They saw that early. Obviously, with that rep against the Steelers, how much of an issue do you think that is?
I always say that the past is and if you look back at a past, it's the greatest determining factor of what happens in the future. I didn't see that issue, or I didn't think it was an issue with Travis Hunter in college. It wasn't a very good-looking play. It was kind of like one of those, I don't want to end up getting dirty here plays. But in college, I saw him get dirty, so I don't expect that to happen again.
All right. Well, more with Jeff Lageman here on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Your questions, keep them coming here. We'll get back to the text line in a moment, but a lot happening in other camps around the NFL. So Tony Smith's going to get you all caught up.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Houston has placed defensive tackle Marlon Davidson on injured reserve. They've signed defensive back Jalen Mills. Tennessee cut quarterback Tim Boyle and has signed Trevor Siemian at the same position. Green Bay quarterback Jordan Love is undergoing a procedure on his left thumb for a ligament issue. The team expects him to be able to return to practice next week there. San Francisco wide receiver Brandon Ayuk is expected to return around week 6 of the season, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan. Buffalo head coach Sean McDermott said that running back James Cooks was expected to be back at practice today, and he is, which does end a week-long hold in and likely signals a new deal for Cook is close to getting done. Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford was thought to potentially be able to return to practice yesterday, but he didn't return to on-field work. He was seen at practice in street clothes. Cleveland head coach Kevin Stefanski has not been willing to name a starting quarterback for their Week 2 preseason game against the Eagles. Philadelphia offensive lineman Landon Dickerson is going to need a minor surgery to repair an injury that he suffered over the weekend. Carolina head coach Dave Canales said yesterday that cornerback J.C. Horn will not be participating in the team's joint practices with Houston this week as he continues to recover from a hand surgery that he had due to a car accident on the way to practice last week. And Kansas City has placed safety Deion Bush on injured reserve due to a torn Achilles that he suffered over the weekend.
All right, thank you, Tony. Logs got one on the text line here, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. And do you have any thoughts on BJ Green, the edge rusher, kind of buried on the depth chart, but do you think he has a chance to make the 53 or the practice squad? As this person said, he has got some speed.
And he's a hardhead. I mean, I'm talking physical, strong. I think there's two young guys that I think have got a real chance to make it in whatever capacity. I think is to be determined. And I think you run the risk of not having them if you end up trying to sneak him on a practice squad, and he's probably one of those guys. B.J. Green's been physical. I like the way he plays the game. He's got a little bit of rush to him. The other one is Danny Strigow, the free agent acquisition from Minnesota, 2 undrafted guys, and Strigow was a priority free agent for the Jaguars, and so in the whole process, after the draft, teams want to fill certain other positions that they weren't able to address in the draft. And so they're able to guarantee or give upfront money to certain guys. I think Strigow was one of those guys for the Jaguars. So it's going to be interesting to watch how that all works out. Last year, I think, if you remember right, was like 10 defensive tackles that they kept on the roster there when they went to 53. Tell me which one was worth keeping out of those 10. I mean, come on. I mean, look, obviously Armstead is a player that's done it before, and Mason Smith, who was a guy. But I'm talking like, after you get to like the 4 guys that you can say that really thought you'd give you something on game day. But
I
they
thought
kept
Armstead
like 10
was an edge last year.
Well, yeah, that was just laughable. But so I think it's going to be very interesting to watch because right now defensive tackle's not very good. Could it be the opposite of last year, not very heavy at defensive tackle and a little bit heavier maybe at the edge? I don't know.
Well, let me ask you, not defensive tackle, but an edge rusher, Emmanuel Ogbah, right? What have you seen from him in camp?
Just kind of
Yeah, right? Like, I was kind of excited when they got him because obviously they had him on a short list because they called him the morning after the draft. It was like, all right, if we find the right pass rusher in the draft, we're going to go the youth route. But if we don't, we're not going to force the pick. And we got this guy on speed dial, and, so they prioritized bringing him in. He hadn't stood out to me. I'm not saying he's having a bad camp. I don't know. I don't break it down like that, but you haven't not really caught your eye.
I mean, he's been okay. And I think, with veteran guys, is kind of, you're a little cautious about over-evaluating because, you do a lot of the evaluation on what they've done in the past.
Right.
And sometimes veteran guys have a way of getting ready for the season that doesn't exactly show this great performance in the preseason. And so I think you got to measure some of that in as well when you evaluate them. And, but the fact of the matter is he doesn't have any history with you. He hasn't done it here. So you probably want to see more because you're making a determination. Do we keep him or do we keep one of these young guys that might be a building block for the future versus a guy who's a rental? So I think it's going to be an interesting balance, and it's probably going to be some conversations in the room when it comes to making the roster. But he's got a consistent performance level in his past, and that's the one thing that you like about him, is that he gives you that. Smoot's kind of in the same category. So you're looking at Ogba and you're looking at Smoot, and now you're looking at BJ Green and Danny Strigow. How many can you keep? That's going to be a great conversation.
All right, we'll come back and we'll turn the conversation back to the offensive side with some of the wide receivers not named Travis Hunter and what Logs has been seeing not only from Saturday but throughout camp as well. Still time for you to get in on a Check the Tape Tuesday at 641-1010. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark here with you on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on Sundays. Sometimes it's flag football, weekend yard work, or just playing with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
Summer's winding down, and we know you want to enjoy what's left of it. But before you celebrate this Labor Day weekend, plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. 904-777-4477 or visit hairforme.com.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080. Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to American-Electrical.com and see how they can help you.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, Logs and the crew off to the Big Easy this week. Jags and the New Orleans Saints will go at it. I did see, I heard the guys talking about on the drill, Tony, that the Saints are one of 3 teams that didn't have a scheduled joint practice with anybody. But I did see something like last week the Rams were trying to get one scheduled with the Saints.
This week.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing, right?
It's very weird because, the Jaguars were trying to find partners to do those practices with and couldn't find any. And so my first thought was, well, did the Saints just tell them no? Or did they not want to go to New Orleans to practice? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. And it's weird. Like, they're doing it with Miami, but they're doing one day. Usually you do a couple days.
Right.
If you're going to bring the whole proceedings down there that early. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, because it's 2 days before the game.
Right. So
my expectation is that you're going to play your starters a lot in that practice. And then your backups, 2s, 3s, 4s, will play a lot in the game.
Well, they're going full. They went full pads today. They're doing a scrimmage on Thursday, right? So what do you expect the playing time to be like this week?
I'm not sure about this week. I'd like to see him go.
That's what I thought coming out of this past Saturday, that this would be treated like as the big ramp up, and then maybe they get him a series to keep him fresh in week 3.
I'd like to see him, if I were making the call, and it ain't my call, but I would like to see him go like a quarter this week, and then I ain't playing him at all in Miami.
That's all. So you'll be content with 1 quarter and 1 drive.
Yeah, give me a quarter of good work this week. Maybe a touch more, depending on snaps. And in Miami, I'm going to get them all the snaps in that practice, and then I'm going to let my backups play.
Yeah, I think we saw on offense, as we mentioned at the top of the show, it did feel like Cohen calling the game on offense, it was never bad, right? Like, they never really established any kind of run game in the game, which is something they've talked about, but they never really got that established, but it never really slowed down the offense either, right? It did feel like Cohen's play calling is natural enough that he could create it when he needed to create it. So the big issues on Saturday were on defense for the football team. So I do wonder if the rope for the offense is a lot longer. Like, we can get a good drive out of you. We feel good about it. Let's go. And the defense, we need to see a couple solid drives out of you guys before we feel comfortable with the get them off the field. We're not going to see you for a couple weeks on the field here.
Right. I think that's right. And, I was a little bit surprised by Liam's, when I say play calling, I say that just because, there's been a lot of talk about the run game, and then, they had a lot of passing plays dialed up.
Yeah, just 17 attempts.
But, and overall, and I think there's a reason for that, because it's a lot, I think, great opportunity to practice the passing game, the rhythm, the timing, whereas the run game, a lot of times, it's just, it's effort, determination, and will. I don't know if it's so much of that as, I'd rather work my passing game in a preseason game than my running game.
I understand that totally. One thing Maurice Jones-Drew told me years ago, it's always stuck in my head. There was one year that they were really leaning into the passing game in the preseason, and he felt like he got off to a bad start because he felt like he was a back that needed to feel the run fits with his offensive linemen, and he needed those reps, and that was de-emphasized. So it's always a balance.
Yeah, I think it's always a balance, but the good thing is that there's a very strong concentration of it in the practice. Camp.
Oh, they ran probably 80% of the first team period today, it looked like. By the way, Tank Bigsby, people are asking, what do you make of Tank Bigsby's tweet? By the way, we don't have a feed that shows us every tweet that happens from any Jaguar-related player at that moment, but somebody sent me the link to it. He put a bunch of woozy faces on there, and Dylan said he thought he got rocked by Dewey in a goal line drill.
Yeah, Baloo tweeted out that he got smoked.
So that much.
So I'm assuming he got cracked.
He's probably given a little homage to Dewey.
Dewey will hit you now. Dewey will hit you.
So that's now the last one was it's like 12 woozy face emojis followed by one lying face, which makes me think he clicked the wrong emoji for the last one.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Tank Bigsby's trying to send a secret message.
No.
Other than, man, I got rocked. Perhaps. Let's hit today's 10-10 take.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, Logs, I'm going to use today's 10-10 take to ask you about a pair of wide receivers, right? We all know Brian Thomas's place in the pecking order. We talked a lot about Travis Hunter today. De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington, what you've seen leading up to Saturday and including Saturday night's performance.
I think they're both building a relationship with Trevor Lawrence. And De'Ami Brown, that little speed reverse on the short yardage play and how he finished that was awesome. That was awesome. And in practice, De'Ami Brown has been like wildly consistent with Trevor. And Parker Washington has been exceptional as well.
He beat Jordan Lewis in a one-on-one. Would have been kind of went up over him, caught it. I don't want to say Parker Washington mossed him, but it was a nice play.
It was a good play, right?
Yeah.
No, they're both good. I mean, that's a really good problem to have, in that you've got some really good depth, and it's amazing to me. And look, you still got to see the performance, and they haven't played a game yet. And I don't want to give myself a speeding ticket here for going too fast, but I'm excited about watching the wide receiving group with Trevor Lawrence this year, and also with, Brenton Strange as well. I mean, the combination of all of that. I think that this is as good of a tight end wide receiver group that has been here in a long time. And I'm talking a long time. So I'm excited about it. So there is we don't have enough weapons for our quarterback, in my opinion. I think there's a tremendous amount of weapons. And if you get a running game and a performance up front, I think this offense can make a huge jump forward.
All right, one more segment on this Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman. And when we come back, we'll cast an eye ahead to the week ahead, the scrimmage on Thursday, what Jeff would be looking for there, and what his expectations are for improving their level of performance when they take on the New Orleans Saints at 1 o'clock on Sunday. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey. Now's the time. Look, if you have any concerns about your roof, Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach can put your mind at ease. Rainy season is no joke. If your roof has damage, if it leaks, if it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable. You know they're going to show up on time, using only premium materials with ironclad warranties, and up to 100% financing is available. Don't let your budget stand in the way of quality. Reach for the peak. That's Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach, or online at apexroofingfl.com.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through August 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster, because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
You wouldn't drive your car 50,000 miles without an oil change, so why are you ignoring your septic tank? Septic tanks need to be pumped every 3 to 5 years. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule your septic pump out with the pros at Duck Duck Rooter.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
If you're 35 to 75, you could get life insurance today. No medical exam needed. I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial. One call could protect your family for life. Call me today, 904-885-9566.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars, protecting you in...
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, just under 10 minutes left in Jaguars Today. First check the tape Tuesday of the season logs. Tony, we've made it this far. Tony, I know you, I'm sure, talked about it at great length yesterday, but haven't really given Cam Little his props today because our first day here back on Jaguars Today logs. I told Liam Cohen yesterday he is now put himself in the position of being booed every time he punts, anytime they're around midfield, because everybody's going to be expecting Cam Little to come in. I mean, what a weapon, though, right? And as he pointed out, he's like, hey, so we got a guy who can kick it 70. We got a guy who can drop it pretty consistently inside the 5. Pretty good options to have right there. But just amazing what that guy at his size is able to do to generate that leg speed. And it was only a question when it came off the foot. Sometimes, like, a lot of guys probably have the leg to make that, but they overswing it, and you end up getting those really ugly hooks. And as soon as that thing kind of straightened out off his foot, you're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And what do you guys think it would have been good from? I didn't really see.
Couple more, yeah.
73-ish, maybe. It was fun talking to DG9 about it yesterday because obviously he had Scobie. When he was playing, I was like, how far, did Scobie give you an idea? Like every game of where he thought he was comfortable? He's like, yeah, in pregame, he'd give me some idea. He's like, you give me to the 36, 37. I'm good. I was like, how often did the coach agree with him? He's like, I don't know what was going on the sideline. I don't know how often Scobie was politicking forward. Let me try. 65, I think I got it today. I don't know what exactly goes on with that. The offensive players are obviously on the field when those discussions are had. But I do think, Logs, there is something to, if a player like Little shows you that 70 is not out of the realm of possibility in a game, it at least gives you the flexibility late in both halves in some of these games to say, look, maybe we only have to get it to midfielder just across to give our guy a chance to get his points going into the locker room.
Well, I think go back to what Mike was talking about, and he had a great question with Liam. I mean, but that's a great problem to have for a coach. I mean, when you've got 3 guys that are specialists that I think are the best 3 specialists in the National Football League, because here's the reality. Logan Cook, Pro Bowler. Cam Little, monster leg. He's going to be a future Pro Bowler.
Level talent.
Yeah, future Pro Bowler. Ross Matisic 2 years ago was the highest rated special teams player according to PFF. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl snapper.
All pro.
Yeah. And so, I mean, those are all great problems to have when it comes to the decision making and everything else. But I thought it was cool because, in our broadcast on Saturday, we were talking about, typically in the situation when you have the ball first and 10 at 32, 19 seconds, You know,
I heard you, man. You were like right on the fence of
like, do you
they're
just
gonna,
take a knee?
All right, I guess they're gonna go for it. Like it's preseason, who cares, right? And that's why, I guess.
Well,
right?
and I, that totally. I got to change my mindset.
Think about it, right? Like
the TV was the same thing. Sexton was asking Bucky, he's like, how far do you think they need to get here to have a reasonable chance of this? And he's like, I don't know, 35, 52, 53 yarder. And then Sexton was like, how about an unreasonable chance? Like, that was the next question out of his. It's like, how far do we think they need to get to even attempt this thing? And apparently the answer is their own 45.
Well, when they had the first play, I immediately changed my mindset.
Yeah,
because, you had a 13-yard gain on the first play by, again, Bashal Tootin, who we mentioned earlier. And then in the broadcast at that point, I said, hey, look, he made one in practice that was 72. So, Frank, where's he got to get? And he was like, well, only a couple more yards. I said, exactly. And sure enough, I think it was 4 yards on the next gain on the third down because it was incomplete again on the second down, and which put it right at 70. And I had full confidence that he was going to make it just because he had made it in practice at 72.
Right. And it's different, though, in practice sometimes because guys are just lining up, kicking it, and you don't know, would it clear the line of scrimmage and all that. But think about it. Initially, clock went to 0, right? And then they're like, no, put 1 second back on it. I mean, so you're basically a half second away from not even getting the opportunity. And now in a game situation with a defensive line who's at least putting their hands up trying to block it, that this guy can deliver in that situation. I think, 1 second makes a big difference sometimes.
I think the impressive thing, too, going back to my first experience with conversations with kickers, going back to Pat Leahy, who was the kicker of the Jets, my first time in the league. And, I used to ask Pat, he was my neighbor, so we had a lot of conversations over beer because his wife didn't let him drink at home, so we would drink beer at my place because I was the neighbor. And so he'd come over and drink beer at my place and chew his Copenhagen over there or Skull, whatever it was that he was doing so that he could get out away from the wife. And then he told me, he said, look, I consider kicking like golf and that, I have a 2-iron, I have a 7-iron, and I have a 9-iron, and I have a driver. He goes, and I break out whichever one I need to based on the circumstance of the game. Well, the impressive thing to me is that Cam Little I don't think he broke out his driver. If you look at the trajectory of the ball, it still got high. It got high pretty quick. So, I mean, here's a
3-iron.
A young man. I think it was probably a 4.
4. Okay.
Looking at the trajectory of it. I mean, so look, if you can hit a 4-iron 70 yards as a kicker, that's impressive.
All right, Lugs, before we welcome in Coach Campo here and turn it over to XL Primetime, got about give us the 1-minute preview of what you'd like to see against the Saints this week.
I want to see the defense get their act straight. I mean, get your cleats where they need to be, get lined up so that you can communicate and understand what the offense is trying to accomplish before the snap. And that didn't happen in the pass game, so that's got to be where it's at. Love to see him run the ball a little bit more just because of the conversations that Liam has had. And I want to see some pass rush. Show me all those things, and then first and foremost, no injuries, healthy, then I'm happy.
Amen to that. All right, some final thoughts coming up, but let's welcome in Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Always love hearing from Coach Dave Campo on 1010XL. And the time's running short, Coach. I got very excited. We don't get you for crosstalk all that often. How are you?
I'm doing good. And listen, that was a great analogy, Jeff, on that golf shots.
Yeah, you're a golfer. You know that.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If he gunned it, he might have got it blocked, but it might have gone 80 yards instead of 70.
Right.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what he's capable of doing. Coach, I saw you out there today with the rest of the 1010XL contingent. Anything catch your eye in particular?
Well, first of all, it looked like they were a little bit more enthusiastic on defense. I think they probably got chewed out a little bit. And the one thing about Liam Cohen that I really, really like is he's transparent. He's going to talk. He'll tell you, and he'll tell the team. He's not afraid to point out something. And he pointed out Campanile pretty good after the game. So, that's what I see. I just think that this team they still don't understand how to win yet. And that's that's going to be a big part of it, in my opinion.
Oh, by the way, kind of not threw himself under the bus, but he pointed out his own flaws. He said, bad play setup or play call on the Trevor incompletion to Brian Thomas Jr. And then with us yesterday, Logs, they're like, look, yeah, man, not good enough. We didn't get in, and he is taking that. He's not saying, oh, the rest of you aren't good enough. He was bearing the weight of that responsibility as well. So let's hope we have some press conferences where he's talking about, damn, we kicked that ass today. 21-point victory. Look at us.
That's the best thing he said just a minute ago. He's just like Campanile. He just kicked their ass.
Exactly. Coach, what do you guys have coming up today?
Listen, we're all Jags, a little bit of college football, but to be honest with you, it's getting close. I think the exciting thing is, I see some improvement in some guys, especially some young guys, Tootin, Monheim, Milam, guys like that. Those are the guys that are going to make a difference down the road. It may take them 2 or 3 ball games before they get involved, but I'm excited about the young players that they brought in, along with some of the undrafted guys. I love Panko. There's one guy that's got a chance to make the football team.
Got a chance to be good on special teams.
Yeah.
That's where he's got to make it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these guys, I think, those young guys that you're talking about, this is a different world. And I'm sure that Liam Cohen has talked to them because he's very matter of fact and he's very open to say, look, guys, you're not going to make this team as a wide receiver. Hello. If you want to make this team, you see that guy over there? Okay, he's our special teams coach. You better be good for him.
Yeah, he even said that about Braswell, who's been around here. He was talking about Braswell, kind of a half veteran because he's been here for a little while. He said, hey, that's the guy that's going to determine whether or not he makes it or not. So I like it. I like the way he operates. And I think this whole staff is the right staff. From what I see.
Well, we like the way you operate, Coach, and I'm going to take the opportunity to listen to you all the way home today. XL Primetime coming up. Good to see you.
Thanks.
All right,
Appreciate
Coach Dave
guys.
Campo on a Check the Tape Tuesday. What could have been better, Tony, than get a visit from Coach Campo right at the end there. Logs, great job as always on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Safe travels to New Orleans. We'll talk to you on game day.
Yeah, I can't wait. I told you yesterday, the best fried chicken I've ever had was in New Orleans.
You did say that.
I'm going to hit it up. Gus's.
All right.
There you go.
Gus's. Yeah. Where would Hacker be going, Tony?
Crystal
Burger, yes.
Hacker. Says you're going into the...
Jeez, man. Oh, that's
coming out
a true
of Bourbon
story.
Street, there's the most busy Crystal in the country, I imagine. It's the one right there on the exit of Bourbon Street.
All right, that'll do it for us. For Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, for Jeff Lageman, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Check the Tape Tuesday, and keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today
from the Renewal